There's been some discourse surrounding Sonic recently, and that is a sentence which is always relevant, because Sonic discourse is one of the few guarantees in life, along with death and taxes. And obviously, one of the talking points is IGN and their reviews back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Now, I could go back and look at these in more depth, but I think they've been talked about enough nowadays, and I honestly find it an incredibly tiring talking point. Don't get me wrong, I've poked fun at them before, and will continue to poke fun at them in the future. It's just I don't see any point in genuinely being annoyed by them over a decade later. So I've decided to look at things from a different angle. Everyone keeps bringing up the Sonic games IGN didn't like, so why don't I look at a Sonic game that IGN did like? Way back in 1999 lies a review which gives a Sonic game a 10 out of 10 score and labels it a masterpiece, and weirdly, it's Sonic Pocket Adventure. Sonic Pocket Adventure is a game for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which, if you hadn't noticed, isn't a Sega console. A Sonic game on a non-Sega console may be normal now, since Sega did what Nintendo don't and failed as a console publisher, but back then, when the Dreamcast was still a thing, this sort of thing basically never happened. In fact, Sonic Pocket Adventure was only the second Sonic game to release on something that wasn't Sega's. The first one was Sonic Jam on the Gamecom, which I've talked about in a different video, and the less said about that, the better. However, that game was licensed and had no involvement from Sega, making Sonic Pocket Adventure the first Sonic game worked on by Sega that was released on a non-Sega console. I have said Sega way too many times already. So what is a Neo Geo Pocket Color anyway? It was a handheld console made by SNK back in 1999, and considering SNK went out of business only 2 years later, it's safe to say it didn't perform very well. That's what you get for trying to compete with the Game Boy Color, I guess. Its game library wasn't that impressive, and most of it was only released in Japan, but Sonic managed to find his way onto it anyway. The hog is back. I don't like that. Sonic Pocket Adventure then. Sega may have been involved, but it was SNK who did most of the work developing this game. And fun fact, a lot of the people who worked on this game ended up forming a new company just a year after this game came out. That company was Dimps, who went on to work on more Sonic games in the future. Some of them good, some of them not so much. So what did SNK bring to the table which made IGN give this game a 10 out of 10? Sonic 2. It's just Sonic 2. Instead of Emerald Hill, Chemical Plant, Casino Night, Aquatic Room, Wing Fortress and Metropolis, we have Neo South Island, Secret Plant, Cosmic Casino, Aquatic Relics, Aerobase and Gigantic Angel. Oh, there's also Sky Chase. They didn't bother renaming that one. It may just be Sonic 2 zone aesthetics, but the Neo Geo Pocket Color does them justice in the graphical department in my opinion. The game's bursting with colour and it really screams classic Sonic to me, despite the green eyes there, which is bound to annoy some people for some reason. That's not the only modern Sonic design in this game, as Eggman ends up in his modern jacket later on. It's a nice little hybrid of classic and modern, which I think translates pretty well. The aesthetics are good, but what about the level design? Like I said earlier, it's Sonic 2. Not only does Sonic Pocket Adventure borrow Sonic 2's zone themes, but it also takes quite a bit of its level design as well, which is something that IGN completely ignored, stating that these levels are exclusively laid out for this game. Looks like someone hasn't played Sonic 2 enough, Mr. IGN. It's not all copy and paste from the Genesis game, but there are large sections which are just Sonic 2, and since Sonic controls pretty well in this game, it's really fun. Of course it's fun, it's Sonic 2. Yet again though, it's not one-to-one. Most levels have been made shorter, which makes sense for a handheld, and there are some sections which are brand new, including a lot more bottomless pits, because Dimps. Overall, this level design and control is very fun. It's quick, it's easy to understand, it's Sonic 2. The bosses aren't Sonic 2 though, with all of them being completely new, and whilst they don't exactly set the world alight or anything, I can appreciate the designs they come up with here. This one though makes no sense. When did Sonic gain the ability to stand on explosive mushroom clouds? Was he hanging around Oppenheimer back in the day? The music in this game is actually 8-bit versions of Sonic 3 and Knuckles music, with the exception of Neo South Island Act 1, which is a track from Sonic Jam. The Sega Saturn one, not the Abomination one. Another exception is the credits theme. It's an original, even if it does borrow the Sonic 3 title screen motif. It also somehow composed the Sonic Force's main theme 18 years before it existed. Also, I'm pretty sure the special stage music is unique. It uses a Sonic 3 motif for sure, but I don't think it's a direct remix of any track I'm aware of. It's a good track. It would have been nice if the special stages that go along with it were good, because I have covered these special stages before in my Super Sonic video, but I'll cover them again here because how they're handled is infuriating. Another departure from the Sonic 2-ness of this game is how you enter the special stages, with it being the same as how Sonic 1 handled it. You can jump into the giant ring at the end of the level if you have 50 rings. Doing that's not really that difficult. The problem is that there are 6 special stages and only 6 levels that you can enter special stages from, meaning that if you fail a special stage, you have to replay the level to have another chance of grabbing an emerald. And trust me, you will fail these special stages at some point because it's the half-pipe from Sonic 2, only the render distance is even worse. If you don't know what's coming up, you've got very little chance of reacting in time, and since there's only 6 special stages and in turn, only 6 Chaos Emeralds you can collect, you don't even get the reward of Super Sonic when you beat them all. That's because the 7th Emerald has a story significance, with Knuckles having it until Eggman snags it off him after you fight him. Knuckles then uppercuts Sonic so we can get to the tornado, and you know what? Maybe IGN was right. Maybe this is a 10 out of 10. You can grab the final emerald during the last Utopia boss fight, but you have to go about it carefully. Instead of just beating the boss, you have to keep hitting the emerald on the back of the machine itself until it's knocked loose and you can pick it up. I don't know why they made it this specific, but whatever. After beating the boss after picking up the emerald, Sonic turns super, which leads to the true final boss in Chaotic Space Zone. And this epic encounter between 2 arch rivals is soundtracked by Sky Sanctuary Zone. It doesn't really fit what they're trying to go for here. The final boss is just Sonic deflecting missiles into Eggman until he goes down and the game ends. I will say though, the game definitely gives you more to do after you beat it. There are these photo pieces across the levels which you can collect to form these puzzles, and yeah, it's nothing amazing and all you get for collecting all of them is a sound test and the option to play the special stages whenever you want, but it is something for the completionists out there to do to get more out of the game. We've got some other options here as well, like a good old time trial mode where you can try and get the best ranks, and there's also a multiplayer mode, but in today's day and age, it's pretty unlikely that anyone who wants to play it has all of either 2 consoles, 2 copies of the game, a link cable, or a friend to play it with. It's also the only way to play as Tails in this game, since only Sonic is playable in the main game. So that's Sonic Pocket Adventure, and is it everything IGN says it is? Is it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece? No, of course it isn't, but it is genuinely a very good game. It sets out to essentially be a condensed version of Genesis Sonic 2, and I think it does its job pretty well. Not exactly the same as the Genesis game, with some zones missing and the bosses and music being different, but I think the changes made benefit the game. This would have been a great option for someone who wanted to play Sonic on the go back when it came out. It only takes about an hour to beat if you don't care about all the photo pieces, and since this is on a handheld, that's perfectly fine. My only real complaint is that you aren't able to turn into Super Sonic in the regular levels. I think this game as a whole is an incredibly efficient game. It sets out to do something and it succeeds. It's just not a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, because it still has some issues like the Unholy Trinity and Gigantic Angel, the handling of the special stages, and the addition of some questionable level design at points. The Bottomless Pits. I'm talking about the Bottomless Pits. Overall though, Sonic Pocket Adventure is good. It's fun. But it's also Sonic 2 with some bits missing. If you want Sonic 2 with everything included, there's this game on the Genesis called Sonic 2, you might like it. That's no disrespect to this game, I'd definitely recommend playing it at some point, but I don't really see the point of ever going back to it when Sonic 2 has more in it, and is also more readily available. By the way, IGN rated Sonic 2 as a 7.9, so if you ever wondered how to make your game better in the eyes of IGN, remove 2 stages, change your bosses, and get rid of Tails. Just putting in a quick message here to tell you all a few things. Firstly, like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah, you've heard that a million times. Secondly, I have a membership option for my channel for anyone who wants to support me a bit more. I'd really appreciate anyone who decides to become a member, as it would help me make more videos on a more regular basis. Thirdly, Twitch. I have a Twitch channel. Will I stream on it much? I don't really know at this point, but I might pop on there every now and again to stream something random. That includes games other than Sonic as well, because honestly, I think everyone needs a bit of a break from the blue guinea pig every once in a while. That's all I have to say at the moment, so I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you when I see you.